Hey guys, it's a Tuesday evening, and normally on Tuesday we bring you the Trooper Restoration series. Now, for a while we have not brought you, progress, but leo tumekuja hapa Donga Kaspa. Donga Kaspa iko hapa Sabaki along Mombasa Road, and today we have just dropped in to see how our Trooper is doing. Now, a few interesting updates. Our RoadCruza, they have come through. Remember the Suzuki Escudo I had? Yeah, it had RoadCruza Mud terrain tires, and since we'll be doing the Elgon Challenge this coming October with the Trooper, and probably this is just a hint, we might be driving the Trooper this December to niwaambie sasa hivi nisiwaambie, aje nisiwaambie, but it's going to do an insane cross-border trip in December. But in October, we are going to do the Elgon Challenge. So we needed some very good tires. Wasi wa RoadCruza wakatu plug na the mud terrain tires. But before we get to the Trooper, here we have Isuzu D-Max. It was involved in an accident, lakini naona come in for repairs. They have actually replaced the radiator panel. So we're just doing a little bit of welding. Zile vitu ziligongwa zilikuwa pale. They replaced the bonnet and the fenders. On this side, tuko na fielder, but kazi kidogo hapa. Sasa, you remember our all-time favorite, the Subaru ya Mambaru of back then. This is the Peugeot 504, and you can see the work is actually commendably done. Inaendelea tu vizuri. One thing, there is something we want to do with the Peugeot 504 that lakini tutaonyesha. Hiyo ni secret. Ama aje Drew? Hiyo tutaonyesha saa hii. Now, right there, we also have a Mercedes W211. These are 211 CDI. So, if it's a CDI, it means that it should be an E220. Nimekosea? Hapana, ni E220, sio? So, CDI, this Mercedes-Benz is E211 ya diesel, common rail direct injection. So you have learned something new. Kama ingekuwa petrol ingekuwa CGI. Well, nataka tuende kwa Trooper. Unaiona Drew? Yes. So and right here pia hapa mnaona kuna, that's the Range Rover Classic, gari ya watu wamejiweza. Yeah, because the reason why we always say that is because it runs on a V8, and that V8 inatumia carburetor, si gari ya EFI. So hii mafuta inakunywa kama FH, kama lorry, that is. And you know, it's petrol, it's not diesel. So here is our baby. Now, these are the old tires. Wacha tuweke hawa chini, and we are replacing them with this. Oops, pole. So we are replacing the tires with these right here. These are RoadCruza's RA3200 mud terrain tires. Unaona meno. Naona meno venye iko. So the reason why we chose the mud terrain was one, Elgon Challenge, plus a series of trails that we are going to be doing with the Trooper. Na pia when we did Burundi with the Suzuki and we had the muddies, they were quite good because of some very bad sections of road that we had to go through. So yes, we are going to run on them, especially for Elgon Challenge, which is going to be predominantly muddy. So this is a mud terrain.
Yes.
Right?
This is a mud terrain tire.
This is a mud terrain.
And this
is an all-terrain.
Yes.
So, the mud terrain and the all-terrain. Hapa tuongelewa watu wa SUVs. There are people who will prefer to have all-terrain on their, say, Prado J150s, Toyota Fortuners, Mitsubishi Pajeros. These SUVs that would mostly go on-road, but also are used. They would go off-road, but mostly they are also used on the road, on highways. Yeah. So there is normally the what do we call it? The very thin line between choosing between an all-terrain tire and a mud terrain tire. So maybe you can explain further, where can I use a mud terrain tire that the all-terrain tire can?
Great. So for the mud terrain tires, mostly if you are mostly on off the road, yes, and you actually go for terrains which are mostly muddy, very rocky, so you better prefer to go with the mud terrain than the all terrain. Yes. The all terrain gives you a good flexibility, gives you traction off the road, and also it's more comfortable on the road.
Yes.
However, for the mud terrain, it gives you better traction off the road than even on the road.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you are like, for instance, we have the RoadCruza tour vans, which normally they tackle a very huge and a very bad terrain when they go to the reserves and the national parks. So they prefer this one to this one.
Unajua kuna watu wengi wanaweka mud terrain not because they used it but sababu ya urembo.
Yeah, it's actually very beautiful. People prefer it. People will actually turn their heads to look at your car when you're having a mud terrain.
Yes. It gives a car that rugged look.
Yes.
But I think there is also the conversation we should have about usability as well, even for you guys as tire dealers. How do you advise clients? Because you can find somebody who has a J150, wants a mud terrain, na anatokanga Westlands anaingia maybe Rumba.
Yeah.
How do you talk to these people into using, like, are there highway patterns for SUVs?
Yes, they are there. They are there. But normally you'll find in this market, most people do not prefer them. Because when you're buying an SUV, most of the people who buy an SUV, they want to tackle those hard terrains. They have that, they don't know the kind of roads they'll meet. They'll go to the site, they'll go to farm and such places.
So who would be the person who which person or which driver would be ideal to choose a mud terrain, and which driver would be more ideal to use an all-terrain?
Like for instance, a driver who is on the city roads and also sometimes goes off the road would most likely be advised to take the all-terrain.
Yes.
Because it gives you that reliability on and off. Like mostly for most of the SUVs,
yes,
you can't have an 4x4 SUV and then you have the high pattern.
It
does not make any sense. So you better have the all-terrain. However, you may not go for the mud terrain if you do not tackle those rugged places, like off the road mostly. People who go to, like the people in the shamba industry, the ones who are selling lard and such things, the good lads are where the roads are not there. So they want a tire that will get the client where they need to show them the lard. So this is the kind of tire to go with.
And these are very interesting question. If you're having, like, you may notice there are so many guys who are, most land selling companies are bringing Pro Boxes and Succeeds and also Vanettes. Is it the reason? Was that the gap you saw in your marketing research that that brought the innovation of using all-terrain tires for smaller vehicles? Because for the longest time they have not been there. Yeah.
What we did, Eric, when we were carrying out our market research, we found there was a huge gap, especially with this Pro Box, this Succeed, the Sientas, which tackle mostly the country roads. Yes. You'll find most of them were actually using the highway pattern and also maybe the commercial pattern. But they were lacking something, that traction off the road. And then also, these days, especially after COVID, most of the times you'll just jump into your car, you want to explore. You not book a RoadCruza to take you out or anything. You want to use your car in those places. So we saw there's a gap. And that's when we introduced actually the size 14. We were the first, among the first companies to introduce the size 14. The 175/80/14, which is one of, let's say, most of these small cars actually prefer that tire.
Okay.
Yeah. You will find it actually even guys who are driving a Toyota Vitz with that 175/80/14.
So nirudishe hapa, and then hii ni mlango ya hii gari. So this door had some corrections to be made. That is why iko kando, but itapigwa rangi. Then imagine these are the original rims. So we were thinking of doing some aftermarket rims, but somebody suggested that first of all we give them a black coat. And you see, after the black coat, these rims actually look very nice. So we might think of using this before we put in the aftermarket. Tuone venye gari itakaa na the original rims. One thing about these original rims is that they are very strong. Alafu engine work, Suleiman's due amelala wapi. We are supposed to rewire the whole vehicle. So actually the reason why we have not put everything back together is, you see how the wires look like? See how these wires look like? Yeah? So what we are going to do with this car we want a very good wiring system. So we are going to buy new wires for the whole car. So before that ikisharudishwa vioo, the next step will be wiring, because wiring is a major job on this vehicle. We'll make sure mataa imewaka, and you will have a new wiring harness from bumper to bumper. That is the only way you're going to avoid these small problems ya kushikanisha na kuunganisha mawaya. Also, we are going to do some bushings on it, to change my bushes. But one thing is that the paint job was simply epic. So next time you watch e video, that is next Tuesday. That is true. Hiyo ni kweli Drew, we might be watching the wiring work, kuweka hii gari mataa. By the way, we have bought some new headlights. Actually, mataa yote ya hii gari ni mpya. That is one thing. Because we wanted it to come back, at least ikuwe gari inaweza drive. The trip we are going to do will be around 9,000 kilometers to and fro in December. So semi inaenda wapi, lakini we should prepare them psychologically. That is why Suleiman and his wiring guy need to do a very good wiring job. We need to service that vehicle. Na by the way, talking about service, kuna kitu ingine mpya nitaonyesha that we are going to do with this car. So today we are not going to have a very big, very long episode. We were just giving you an update so that at least msikae na kiu sana. But next time mtapata hizi miguu zimewekwa kwa hizi rims. We'll start the wiring work step by step. So we are going to take you through how do you rewire a project vehicle. Because there's something I want to show you. You see this Trooper, that Peugeot over there, this Toyota 100, all of them had to be rewired. And hakuna haja, actually there is no need of you using old wires in a restored vehicle. So that is one of the reasons why we have delayed kidogo, so that we can buy an entire wiring harness, buy the lights. But the lights are there, so tutaonyesha tu. Again, na hao vijana watakuwa wamemaliza kupiga hizi milango rangi. Now, I want to show you something. This Toyota 100 imepigwa rangi, and this one belongs to one of our avid fans. You can see it's complete. If you look at the other older videos, this vehicle ilikuwa mahali kwa kona, and a lot of work and effort has been put onto this car. Sawa sawa. So what else? The storyline we are going to do on this Peugeot 504. We are going to do an episode that is going to be very thrilling and something that you should actually look forward to in the how many weeks, Andy? Na Andy wase wanasemanga wakuonangi kwa video. Anacheka tu hapo. So you guys are going to see it. And there is also another interesting car there. That's a Mitsubishi Pajero that should be a Mark 3. It's a 2-door. Na yeah, pia hiyo inafanyiwa restoration kali sana. Again, this is from one of our avid followers, my fans of Auto Connect, and see, it's actually nice. This is actually a car that I would think of buying maybe in the very near future, because they were formidable off-roaders. Actually really nice cars, especially if you get it with the 4D56 engine. Zilikuwa gari poa sana. One of the, actually our interests, our cars of interest are that Isuzu D-Max, this 211 over here, that Range Rover Classic, wacha zikae. So hizo ndizo gari we would like to really focus, ndio hata nyinyi muone progress za hizi magari. So I think that was an update that was good enough. So if you want RoadCruza Tyres, their number is in the description. Piga simu, itisha quote, and they'll give you, a good quote, an affordable quote. And the most important thing is that RoadCruza offers value for money. Na pia they'll give you strong and durable tires. Also, if you're doing a project and you want a very good factory style respray, kuja hapa Donga Car Bakery along Mombasa Road, Pale Total Sabaki. Over and out, guys. See you on Sunday, because we have another alluring episode.